I hope to never retire. If that sounds crazy, then you're going to want to watch this because I might just bring you over to the dark side with me. Three big experiences shaped my view on retirement. I watched my grandmother work into her 90s, not because she had to, but because she wanted to. She would always say work gives you purpose, and I'm pretty sure her work was the reason why she lived so long. I watched my dad, a hardworking lawyer, retire only to unretire because he missed it, he enjoyed it, and he made a difference. He learned that work wasn't either or, and he built a schedule and an approach to his job so he could be home earlier and hang out with his grandkids more, my three boys. And unfortunately, I've watched friends' parents sacrifice their whole lives to work only to die right before retirement, never getting the chance to enjoy what they spent decades putting off. Here's the deal: we live in a magnificent moment where we don't have to follow traditional retirement plans. So here are 5 huge reasons why I'll never retire and why you shouldn't plan to either. Reason number 1: work gives life meaning and purpose. The dirty secret about retirement is most people actually reach it and realize they don't want to stop working completely. I've seen this pattern over and over. Hard charging executives retire, and within months, they're depressed, dead, or taking jobs as Walmart greeters just to stay busy. Why does this happen? Because work gives us purpose. When that stops, we have to come to grips with who we are again. My grandmother had this figured out. My grandmother was a mother of 11 kids. She could have stopped working decades before she did, but she felt there was a deep meaning in solving problems and contributing. She understood something most people miss. The goal isn't to escape work forever, it's to work on your own terms, be of service, and contribute. Yes, you can volunteer. Yes, you can tinker with creative projects. Yes, you can get a part time job. But if you're doing these things to pass the time in your golden years, then you're in for a rude awakening. Even if you have plenty of money saved, and even if you have immaculate plans to travel the world, play golf, and spend the winters in sunny Florida, you will not be happy letting your years run out on a beach because that's not freedom. That's a broken retirement model, forcing capable people into meaningless, busy work because we program them into thinking the only alternative to grinding at a job is to do nothing. If this is hitting differently than what you've been told about retirement, then you're not alone. Look, I help people break corporate dependence and build self directed careers every day. If you're tired of waiting 30 years to start living and want to see exactly how to build income on your terms, I've got a free strategy session where we map out your specific path. The link's in the description to book a call below. Reason 2: people are lying to themselves about retirement readiness. First, they're lying to themselves financially. Do you actually have enough money to not just survive, but enjoy retirement? Most honest people would say no. The average 401k balance for people approaching retirement is around $200,000. Try living on that income for 20 to 30 years while inflation eats away at your purchasing power. Even if you have $1 million put away, is that enough to ensure a high quality of life and not run out of money? Which means you're either going to work longer at a job that you want to escape already, or you're retiring into financial stress. Neither of those sounds like freedom to me. There is a third option, however, which I'll call out in a minute. Second, they're lying to themselves about what retirement actually is. Ask someone what they want to do in retirement, and you'll get vague answers about traveling and relaxing. But after 6 months on a beach, then what? After you visited all the places on your bucket list, then what? I see this all the time. Retirees who thought they wanted to do nothing suddenly realize that humans need challenge. They need growth and contribution to feel alive. So they end up taking random jobs just to stay busy and feel useful. That's not freedom. That's desperation disguised as leisure. The people who thrive in their later years aren't the ones who stop working completely. They're the ones who built something meaningful they can continue on their own terms. They're consulting for companies they actually want to help. They're mentoring people they care about. They're creating value in the world while living completely by their own design. Reason 3: retirement math is broken. Let me show you why traditional retirement planning is actually financial suicide. Say you make $200,000 for 30 straight years. You max out your 401k and your company matches up to 3%. After 30 years of putting money away, you only have $360,000 that you've contributed to your retirement fund. That's not counting growth. So you did everything right and only socked away $360,000. Even if you invested this perfectly in a smart, balanced portfolio, you're still coming out under $1 million. No wonder most people are not financially ready to retire. Now take it a step further. And I'm going to be really generous here. Say you have $1 million retirement portfolio earning 10% annually. That's $100,000 in income per year. Not bad, right? Until you consider the hidden risks. First, that entire $1 million is still exposed to market and global risk. It can go up or it can go down, impacting your income. And the second is taxes, right? Is $100,000 really enough to support all the things you want to do in retirement once you take 30% out? But here's what most people don't consider. What if you took just $10,000 to $50,000 of that money, less than 5% of your portfolio, and invested it in building your own business instead? Now, while you're working, if that business generates $100,000 annually, which is not too hard, you just achieved a 200% return on investment every single year. Not 10%, 200%. And here's the kicker. You're not risking that entire portfolio on market fluctuations. You're using a small portion to create an income stream you control completely. If your financial advisor told you that they could get you a 200% return, you'd probably hand over that money without thinking about it. This isn't theory. I coach people who've done exactly this. One client took her operations background and built a digital marketing consultancy. She went from making $80,000 in corporate to $150,000 working part-time. Another guy leveraged his finance experience into a business coaching practice that generates 6 figures while he works from wherever he wants. But here's what really gets me. People are terrified to take a small bet on themselves, $10,000, $50,000 in their own expertise, but they'll happily hand over $1 million to Wall Street fund managers who charge them fees to maybe get 10% returns. That's extremely generous, actually. True financial freedom isn't having enough money to stop working. It's building something that pays you whether you work or not. And the math isn't even close. Reason 4, you can create mini retirements starting right now. Why wait 30 years to enjoy your life when you can engineer freedom today? When I was stuck in corporate, I realized I was living someone else's dream, putting off my own happiness for some theoretical future state. I was the guy responding to emails at the dinner table, taking calls during my kids' bedtimes, and constantly stressed out about someone else's priorities. So I started building what I call time sovereignty, taking control of my schedule to create space for what mattered to me. I began saying no to meaningless meetings, protecting blocks of time for deep work, and most importantly, creating space to build something on the side. Instead of grinding for decades hoping to enjoy retirement, I built systems that let me take my kids to school, work from coffee shops, and take time off whenever I wanted. Not when I turned 65, but right now. I remember the first time I was able to take a random Tuesday off just because my son had a baseball game. Not using vacation days, not asking permission, just choosing to be there because I had built something that gave me freedom. Now my family regularly travels with our kids, mixing work and play to enjoy our time and our experiences now. The traditional model says suffer now, enjoy later. But what if later never comes? I've watched too many people die right before retirement to bank everything on that approach. Build something that gives you mini retirements throughout your career. Take that trip to Italy at 45 and not 70. Spend time with your kids while they still want to hang out with you. Create those experiences while you're healthy enough to enjoy them. And this is all possible because of reason number 5. Reason 5, we live in a self-directed renaissance. Here's what previous generations didn't have: The tools to build location independent income streams based on your knowledge and your expertise. You can build a consulting business serving clients globally from your laptop. You can create courses teaching skills you've developed over decades. You can coach people through challenges you've already solved. You can start an agency leveraging processes you've perfected in your corporate job. The barriers to starting a business have never been lower. You don't need a storefront, employees, and massive capital investment. You need your expertise, you need a laptop, and the willingness to solve problems for people who need your help. My clients are building businesses where they work 20 hours a week, but make more than their full-time corporate salaries. They're creating what I call financial independence through ownership rather than just savings. One of my clients built a leadership coaching practice that generates $300,000 in income while working 25 hours a week. Another created a consulting firm helping companies with digital transformation. He's making over $400,000 a year and travels 6 months of the year with his wife. Imagine being 70, explores the local market. You're generating income, staying mentally sharp, contributing to the world, and living completely on your own terms. You're not retired, you're free. That's not retirement, that's freedom. And it's available to anybody willing to repackage their expertise into solutions for people who need them. So here are 3 moves to start building a retirement optional life this year. First, create time and space to reflect deeply on what you actually want. I'm talking about blocking every Friday afternoon to get out of the building and just sit and reflect. Get to a truthful position on what you think retirement actually is and what your options are for generating income or getting what you want out of life in that period at all. Not what you think you should want, but what would actually make you excited to wake up every day. Second, repackage your skills and experiences to solve problems for people who are behind you. This might be doing what you do at your actual job today, in a freelance capacity or in a consulting capacity. Or look at some challenges you've had in your past that you've now overcome and package your skills and abilities to solve that problem for people who are still facing it. What do people always come to you for advice about? What part of your job do you excel at that others struggle with? That's your business waiting to be built. Third, test the waters with real conversations and real offers. Start having conversations with believable people, not your spouse or coworkers who've never built a business, but people who've actually done what you want to do. Get their feedback, then try to make some offers. If you get even one person that pays you for the problem you're solving, then you've started to become an entrepreneur and you've started to see more clearly how you can generate income as a bridge into retirement or even instead of retirement. Stop planning to escape your life at 65. Start building a life you never want to retire from. If you want help designing that life, I created the Freedom Accelerator Lab specifically to help people like you break out of the 9-to-5 trap and build income engines that last. Book a discovery call when you're ready. And if you're feeling done with your 9-to-5 right now, check out this video where I break down exactly what to do when you've hit the wall. Thanks for being here.